Also joining us is Hannah White from the Institute for Government. Have to say, Hannah White, if this is 1 year's programme, awful lot in it, isn't there?
Well, I think any new government is going to want to show that they've got plenty to do. I think, as Vernon was saying, it's interesting that there are lots of plans for bills, but also plans for thinking ahead of future legislation. The government can't do everything straight away, so the things that it's thought about already, that it's already got legislation prepared for, are the things that will come forward immediately in this session. But on other tricky problems, they're setting up review processes, a royal commission and so on, in order to develop their thinking first.
Anything particularly struck you in all of this?
I thought, as you said, that the review, the security, foreign policy review and so on is interesting. As you say, it links to what we're expecting in terms of possible machinery of government changes, moving the departments of Whitehall around to try to signal priorities and also line up the resources of government behind what the government is trying to achieve. The other thing I thought was interesting was talking about legislating for legally binding air quality targets, and that's the sort of thing that we now have to do because those would previously have been under the remit of the EU. The European Commission held us to account on those sorts of things. Now this is the government saying, well, we're going to have a legal structure to say that we have to meet these things as well, although of course it's not quite as binding because the government can always legislate to change those targets if it wishes to.
But as Van Bognor was saying, the big difference is there's a majority now, so parliamentary business can proceed rather quicker than we've seen it of late.
Exactly, and the government can expect that these things that it's saying it's going to legislate for, including the very first thing that we're going to see even tomorrow, the withdrawal agreement bill, will get through.